Hello.
Hello. It is now Monday morning, day 7, and our last day in Tokyo. Flora's last day in Japan, period. Flora's going home this evening. We go over to Kyoto for a few days.
Yahoo!
I don't know if I've made this clear before, but I do want to make this clear for the viewers that the reason we were able to actually attend Worlds was just out of the goodness of our friends' hearts. We didn't even ask for passes, but when Birdkeeper Toby, when I just mentioned to him that we had not won the lotteries, he said that he had extra passes that weren't going to be used because he went to Mount Fuji. And so he very generously gave us a couple of the passes. Same thing with Adi Subramanian. When he saw my community post saying that we were coming and that we didn't have passes, he just offered to give us one of his spectator passes that he had unclaimed.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu. That was how we ended up going to Worlds over the weekend. We missed Friday, so we didn't see the opening ceremony. On the finals day, they showed some clips from the opening ceremony. It looked like there was a taiko drum performance. I would like to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
But being there for Saturday and Sunday was awesome. I don't know how much you want to talk about your Saturday and Sunday adventures.
So I started feeling a little ill, so I had to take it a little easier, but I still went and adventured a little bit.
Flora decided to take the day to rest up so they could make the best of Sunday, so Indigo and I ventured off to Yokohama on our own. Even before we arrived at the convention center, we could already see matches from every game being broadcast at the nearby malls. This is with the Japanese commentators. I wonder if there's a different one with the English commentators. We arrived early to scope out the area, and it's a good thing we did because the signage was not super clear.
Yeah.
You just kind of like follow the flow of people and you can figure out most of it, but there was one part in particular where there's a sign that says activity zone to the right, Pokemon Center to the left. There's no sign that says like main venue, main hall, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were kind of just following the flow of people, we ended up finding the right place. And there was this big sign, like an arch kind of thing that said, welcome trainers. That doesn't say welcome to what. So I think most people found their way there, but it could have been clearer. The main venue really looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So many like really nice like photo op kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
We certainly took a lot of photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that little like park kind of area was really nice. We actually didn't do any of the side events. On Saturday, we kind of forgot to bring our switches and things like that, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
none of us really do competitive. I mean, you do a little bit, but I'm a very casual player, so.
Yeah, I might have tried something if I had remembered, but like I really felt that the competitive onboarding for Scarlet and Violet was not as good as Sword and Shield, and so I haven't even done any ranked battles in Scarlet and Violet, and so I had like 0 experiences. It's totally okay that I ended up missing out on that.
The main stage also looked absolutely beautiful.
We got to watch one match on the big screen. On Saturday, they were showing Unite, Go, BGC, and TCG all in the same space. There was like this one big screen that was divided into parts. The speakers were doing the commentators for each one, kind of sectioned off. So we were able to watch one VGC match. The VGC and TCG areas were kind of empty of spectators. There were quite a few people watching Unite and watching Go.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we decided to go to try to get on the ship, the SS Anne. So we got in line at around noon. We got our tickets at around 12:40, 12:45, and our boarding times were for 4 and 5 o'clock. So we had a lot of time to kill, which ended up being okay because just finding a place to have lunch
It was really hard, yeah.
Yeah. As we were looking for food, and as we were a little bit later just killing more time before our boarding time, we walked around I think the mall was called Hammerhead, and there were Pokemon decorations everywhere.
Yeah.
Little photo ops for you to discover. Some of them had long lines of people trying to take photos, and some of them had no lines at all, probably because they were like small and in the corner and people didn't notice them.
We kind of accidentally ended up in the line, which was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it wasn't a mall. It was very easy to kind of just walk past it. But we saw a little like Dedenne, about to reach like a citrus berry. There was a little like what's it called, like little fencing. So we were like, oh, here's a line. So we, went into it. And then we realized afterwards, like, there was kind of a whole tour. We just kind of happened to kind of follow it along because as we keep walking, we go, oh, here's another thing. Oh, no, this is actually, like, part of the system. We just kind of happened to be in it. So, and it was great because once we were kind of done, then there was, like, a much bigger line afterwards. So,
yeah.
Maybe people saw what we were doing.
Apparently there were photo ops kind of all over Yokohama, certainly a lot in that area. We did not find all of them, but it was, I think I knew like of the existence of them because of like Instagram posts and things like that. But I didn't know like every single one or anything like that. So it was really fun to just kind of walk somewhere and be like, oh, look, there's Flabebe flying over here.
Just, very cool.
Yeah. After lunch, we just had a little bit of time to kill. That's when we went to the Cup Noodles Museum, right?
Yes. We couldn't get into the Cup Noodles Museum because it was already sold out of tickets for the day. But we
got into the building.
But after killing a lot of time, finally it was time for us to board the trainer cruise.
The ship itself, it was really nice. Like I think the main attraction really for the ship was the decorations, the Pokemon-themed decorations on the ship. A few photo ops. We got a photo with the mast, the chimney. I don't know what you call it on a ship that doesn't have sails. The big red thing of the ship in the back. Yeah. Oh, and we saw a solar eclipse. It was very, very hot and very, very humid that day, but all the Pokemon stuff around just eclipsed the sun.
Perfect. Our tickets for the ship also came with some blank space, and there were stamp stations at each area so you could personalize your ticket as you wished.
Inside, there was a lot of spaces for, you go here if you want to find someone to trade with. You go here if you want to find someone to battle with or do raid battles with. It was nice to have it there, but like I said, we didn't remember to bring our Switches. There were some spaces that were quite empty, but there was also one kind of big space that even had some balconies with places to just kind of sit and rest. That area was quite busy, so that was nice. We sat there for a while just kind of watching the DLC trailer that they were playing on a screen and just kind of people watching as they battle.
Yeah. There have been a lot of ads for the DLC.
Yes.
Yeah, there.
Everywhere you go, if you get a little souvenir of some kind, it comes with an ad.
Yeah.
It's not always a DLC ad. We got.
We did get some Detective Pikachu.
Put them away.
Ads.
Yeah.
I'll get the fans.
Yeah. Oh, one's in my backpack in the back.
These were from the ship, right?
Yeah.
These were souvenirs from the ship. We got one of these. So this is a Detective Pikachu ad, and there's a Pikachu and a Galarian Darmanitan. It was actually quite nice to have these.
And they were fast with the ads too. The Shibuya Center, for example, had the new ads the day after the release.
Already plastered on the wall.
Yeah,
they were prepared.
Prepared.
Yeah, the Symphony. We got a little tote bag and
so cute.
A very nicely printed program as well, and flyers for the DLC and Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah, by the way, have you seen DLC's coming in?
Did you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I hadn't been too fussed about getting on the trainer cruise, but in the end, it really was a lovely way to spend an hour or two.
And then in the evening, we went to the Pokemon Center GX.
That was when Flora joined us.
That one's good. That was one of the biggest ones, I think.
It's interesting how like each Pokemon Center has their own thing going on, different things that are on sale. The one in Shibuya has the like t-shirt design thing that we unfortunately didn't get to do because it was so busy. But then the DX has this like big wall with screenshots of Pokemon games and this nice kind of trailer, I guess. Just a fun video. The Shibuya one has the Mewtwo. The DX had a Snorlax. After that, we went for dinner. And we had the most expensive sushi I've ever had.
You walk in, you're like, oh, it's very nice. Oh, no, it's very nice.
The flavor was great, and the pieces were big. It wasn't like, oh, tiny, dainty little meal that is super overpriced.
Just to give an idea of how expensive it was, like if we've both been as hungry as we usually are when we go to like our regular restaurants back in BC, if we'd eaten the same kind of or the same amount of food, it would have been about double the price.
Yeah.
Probably more than double the price, actually.
Easily,
but
yeah.
My place is an all-you-can-eat place, so it would have been triple. The same amount.
But it was delicious. I was able to kind of gauge just like which pieces were the really nice ones, and I saved those for last as I was going through my meal. And so it was a fantastic ending, and easily the best miso soup we've ever had.
Yeah,
that's it was super good.
Sunday.
Did we do anything?
Flora still wanted to take a slow morning and join us at Worlds later. Indigo had a bit of a cough, which turned out to be the beginnings of a con cold, but she still felt good enough to stick with the plan.
The two of us got up early, went for breakfast, Indigo jammed a gacha machine. Then we went all the way to Yokohama. We found the venue and the like actual correct entrance very easily because I believe doors only opened at 8 and we got there at like 8:03, so there was a huge line. We fairly quickly got into the building, but into the like main hall we had to wait another half hour roughly.
Everyone got these cheering bracelets with LEDs in them to light up the crowd.
Pretty easily we were able to find a good set of seats close to the stage, and I pretty much just parked myself there for the entire day.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do on Sunday was watch the matches. We'd already done the photo ops, we'd already done all the other things that I kind of cared about doing at the venue. We'd done that on Saturday. Sunday was for watching the finals and watching the closing ceremony.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo!
It was fantastic. Like, even watching the games that I don't follow, the matches were really exciting. Just like having the energy of the crowd there as well. I don't know why that was an exciting play, but that was awesome.
I didn't realize that the Unite finals had happened on Saturday. I was a little disappointed to miss out on that because I know absolutely nothing about Unite, and I was kind of looking forward to watching the finals and seeing what all the fuss was about.
Pokemon Go started off the day.
Well, I know who I'm cheering for.
And then there was TCG. I know very little about TCG these days, especially like without being able to like really see the cards that well, and definitely not able to like read the text on them. Even when they put the really big cards on the screen so that you know exactly which cards are in play.
Yeah.
It was really hard to follow as someone who doesn't know the game. But with the help of the crowd and the help of the commentators, we were able to like follow along enough.
Yeah.
There were a lot of moments where like the games were really long, and so it was getting kind of like boring because the players are just like setting up their main play, and we're But then when it gets to the point where they are actually like doing their big plays, then you can see what's happening, and you can really tell. I was excited that a Brazilian kid won the TCG seniors division. It was kind of funny hearing the crowd yell "É campeão," which is like the way that Brazilians celebrate championships. It was funny hearing that in Japan. You left for a little bit to go walk around, stretch your legs, and get a snack.
Yes.
We didn't save the seat.
But I was okay though, because I don't have roaming on my phone. I've been kind of just relying on Libris because it's expensive. So I was basically on the convention center's Wi-Fi. But so was everyone, because everyone's playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
So my internet was pretty spotty. And unfortunately, just where we were seated, it wasn't the best connection. And for whatever reason on Pokemon Go, my game didn't have all the Pokestops that were available. So I had 4 Pokestops and some of the Pokemon spawning there. But I could see other people's screens, and there was a Pokemon gym, there was 3 other Pokestops, so they all had lures, and so for whatever reason, I just didn't have that map.
It's like your game loaded the normal map rather than the You're at Worlds map.
Yeah, and so I'm not really sure if I needed to get a code or something. Where I ended up was a stage that was specifically for media and staff, that I kind of was just able to kind of lean against the stage there, and my internet connection there was consistent for some reason. So I actually, even though I couldn't load the rest of the Pokestops that I was missing, I was quite content just kind of hanging out there and having consistent access to Pokemon Go. I really wanted to get a shiny Froakies, and I did get one. So
Then you came and saved my seat while I went to have lunch. I thought I was going to miss the TCG Masters, but I came back basically right in time to catch the match, which was extremely long, but it was interesting anyway.
Yeah.
One of the players had a Gardevoir deck, so that's who we were cheering for.
Gardevoir! Yay! I was still at that little spot I was kind of camping out at. There was somebody next to me that was this player has a Gardevoir deck, so this match is probably going to be a while. And then the match was a while.
Meanwhile, Flora slowly started to make their way to the convention center.
Sunday I spent an hour in line to get one of those special tropical drinks in the same place that was selling the ice cube lollies. It was really good. It was worth it, but oh my goodness. It was this mall near where Worlds was taking place that was more crowded than Worlds. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was Worlds spillover. I don't know if there was some other event there or just a very popular mall.
Probably just all the people that wanted to go to Worlds and didn't make it.
Maybe that too. Maybe they're just shopping because they're just there because if they hadn't gotten as lucky as heck we had. And there was one other place that didn't require a match that was Pokemon game called the Activity Zone. It was mostly just advertising stuff.
Okay. We didn't make it.
It was mostly just here's a big booth setup so you can either play a teaser of the card game or Masters or Unite. And the queues for those were super, super long. So I didn't.
Then it was time for VGC. That was the one that I really wanted to watch because it's the one game that I actually understand, even though I haven't been as active in the Scarlet and Violet meta. I might not realize this person is likely to have a Terra of this type or things like that because I don't know the meta, but I know the game. I can understand what's happening.
Yes.
And so that's what I was looking forward to the most. And that was when the main stage viewing area was really filling up. Mm-hmm. And so there were a lot of people that were saving seats with, leaving a bag on the seat or something like that. But when VGC was starting, there were staff members coming around and telling people that they're not allowed to save seats. Yeah. It was strictly, you can only save your own seat. Because of that, Indigo was able to come and join me again. Yeah. For a moment, we were very close, but on different rows. Yeah. But eventually, someone left, and I was able to.
Yeah, the guy next to me, he wanted to save his seat for his friend. He seemed a little salty about having to give up the seat when I came up, so I felt bad. But then it turned out that he was scheduled for the Pokemon Center, so I was just oh, well, you wouldn't have been here anyway. So, so I was just okay, I don't need to feel guilty anymore.
And honestly, I was starting to feel annoyed at all the people saving seats. There were like 3 seats behind me at one point with just like a water bottle on it or something like that. Look at all the people standing on the sides. There were like people sitting in the aisles and you're like blocking people from taking actual seats. I get it, but also like you're not here, you know? Anyway,
it was okay though, because like I said, I found a spot that I was actually quite content with. So yeah, it was good, and then we got lucky and was able to sit with you after all.
Yeah, we were able to watch the last few matches and the closing ceremony actually together.
Yeah,
VGC finals were all fantastic, but I especially love watching the juniors and the seniors. Masters is clearly like very high level play, very kind of tactical and technical. Yeah. The younger kids, they tend to be more aggressive, and like that's the style of play that I prefer, like for myself, for when I play as well. And so it's a lot more exciting. It's fantastic when someone just like literally calls every single play that the opponent is going to make, like calls every single one, and just like it gets knockout after knockout after knockout because they just perfectly predicted everything. Yeah, that was fantastic. It was pretty exciting being there for the Japan sweep. I don't know how well those players are known in Japan. Like I don't know if they're like famous players here. I actually didn't know any of the names of the. And there was one player that I recognized from top 8 because they won Vancouver regionals. It was their first competition ever. So they won regionals and they made it to top 8. That was the only person that I recognized the name of in top 8. I don't know the Japanese players, but the Japanese spectators were clearly very excited.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun, like every little thing, the crowd getting super excited, going wild was awesome.
Outside, Flora was looking for the entrance, but without good signage or the flow of people, they were having trouble.
Trying to find the actual venue for the closing ceremonies, I got directed to another main hall.
The main hall is a different building.
There's a different main hall in another building where they were live streaming it instead of actually presenting the event.
Yeah, not where it was taking place, but it was...
It was just around the corner. And so I'm still very grateful they showed me where to go see anything at all instead of just kind of wandering around. But it was kind of like, oh no, I want to go see the actual thing.
You never actually made it to the main venue, did you? Like either day?
Neither day.
No, same.
Yeah. Closing ceremony was nice. I was hoping for more of a like ceremony. It ended up being just like Ishihara coming in and saying thank you for being here. Here are some announcements. And, you know, the announcements were cool. It was, even for the games that I don't play, it was exciting to be there. People going wild over Blaziken and Unite.
Yeah, people did go pretty wild over those. The side theater I was in was just like cacophony after Neil Skrala came on screen. I was like, oh, okay, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for these people and got caught up in that, even though I don't play it personally.
Yeah.
I think it was because I saw that clip that showed the like taiko performance that must have been in the opening ceremony. I guess I just thought that there was going to be something like that, you know, some kind of performance, some kind of like live thing rather than just here are announcements about Unite, about CCG, about VGC, and here's where the next one is going to be. But it was nice to be there anyway.
Yeah.
Indigo's not really interested in going to Hawaii. I am considering it.
I almost certainly will, because I actually had a layover in Hawaii. On the way here, and it's surprisingly affordable.
For us, it's easier to get to as well than coming here. So
it was also a lot more mild in terms of climate.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's very constant breeze, and it just, despite being a tiny island in the ocean, a lot less humid.
Cool.
I think now we need to finish packing.
Yep.
And check out of our hotel. Laura is going to go home, and we will go to Kyoto. And yeah, we're going. That's exactly it. We're going to Kyoto.
I'm going to go on the Magnus train to Kyoto.
Literally,
Yeah.